Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to our webinar series student panel. Tonight we have 3 current students with us and then a couple members from our admissions staff to answer any questions that you may have about coming to Marietta College or what it's like here from a student perspective. So feel free, there's a couple ways you can enter your questions. You can type it into the question and answer window or in the chat feature. Either way is fine. We'll get them both ways. So you can insert your question at any time and we'll answer as many as we can throughout the time that we have this evening. We'll start the session by just having everyone introduce themselves. My name is Stacy Saunders and I'm the visit coordinator in the Office of Admission at Marietta College. So if you have visited in the fall or in the winter, I likely organized your visit schedule, or if you came to any of our visit days, I planned those out. And if you have any need for a virtual visit coming up, if you want to talk to anyone to get further questions answered, I can definitely accommodate that and get your virtual visit scheduled. I'll kind of just go around my screen here. So Shantae, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Shantae Watson, and I am a business management major at Marietta, and I have a couple minors in strategic communication, leadership, and entrepreneurship, and I'm from Marietta, so fun fact.
Cool. Katie?
Hi, everybody. I'm not a student. I work in admission. If you have any questions about the admission process or your next steps, I am happy to help.
Justin?
Hi, my name is Chasten Coleman. I am a sports management major, a musical theater major, and a coaching minor. And I'm from North Carolina.
Scott?
Hi, I'm Scott Schaefer. I'm the Vice President for Enrollment Management here at Marietta College.
And Quinn?
Hello, my name is Quinn Rundgren. I'm an environmental studies major with a leadership minor, and I'm from North Carolina.
All right. Awesome. So let's just kind of start off. So this is a big week for you all. We're finishing up finals week, finishing up that second half of the weirdest semester ever. Can you all just talk a little bit about, I know it was a big transition, but kind of how your semester finished up, how things were able to transition during the COVID-19 pandemic that we've been dealing with, just kind of how did the second half of the semester go?
I can start.
Okay.
So I think as everyone was, whenever this first happened and we were all kind of sent home, I was really stressed out just about how like school would look for all of us for the next couple weeks. And it turned out being like one of the smoothest adjustments for me, and all of my professors were super helpful and kind, and made sure that not only like we needed what we needed for class, but also if we needed to talk about anything that we could reach out to them. The Marietta community itself has been super awesome throughout this. All of like your friends that you'll meet on campus, professors and everything, like you'll stay strong with them, whether you're on campus, off campus, graduated, whatever, and that's kind of shown throughout all of this, which I think is really awesome. So overall, despite like obviously just everything that the world's facing right now, I think it's like really cool that we can look at all the positives and like being a part of something that's a little bit bigger than just yourself. So yeah.
My transition was easy and difficult at the same time. Being a performance major made it very, very difficult because we were getting ready for our juries and all of our final performances, and a lot of it has been postponed to the fall. So we have still been working on a lot of our things. The college has been really good with working with me since I am one of the students that is on campus. So they've allowed me to get a keyboard put into my room, have given me my own space for me to do any recordings that I needed to do. So the transition was made a lot easier by all the staff and the communication has been very, very, very good.
Yeah, as for me, the transition went pretty well. You know, it was great to connect to all of my professors over Zoom and other online resources. And I also connected to staff at Marietta, which was also helpful. So.
Awesome. So the goal is to be back on campus in the fall, and the people who are tuning in are hopefully going to be joining us in the fall as well. What is something that you all are really looking forward to, that you enjoy about being on campus and can't wait to get back to?
I'm really excited about home week because I am an orientation leader, onboarding leader. So I'm really excited to get to meet the new students here, because that's one thing that made my transition very easy into college, was having that first week and having all the helpful students around, and just knowing that the community is here to support you. And I really like the involvement fair, because that's really when you find out what new clubs and organizations that we have on campus. So I'm really just excited to see everybody back on campus, and yeah.
I'm excited to see everyone. Obviously, that's going to be a really exciting day. I'm also excited for things like homecoming and stuff. I'm really hoping that's something that we get to take part in. Those are always really fun festivities that you get to, all your friends will be with you, but also alumni come back. That's one of the best weekends to make connections with the Long Blue Line, because I know I've met several people and actually got an internship through an alumni, which was really cool for me. So yeah, getting to do homecoming, it'll actually be my last homecoming, so I'm excited about that. But yeah.
Yeah, as for me, I'm excited to get back to playing lacrosse on the school team, and then just getting back to a schedule and meeting new people.
Cool. So we have some people who are, in the process of either kind of finding a roommate or determining if they want to just go completely random with the selection. Any recommendations for how to find a roommate, or what was your circumstance with that when you first started?
I'm a local, like I said earlier. So when I first came to college, I roomed with a girl that I had went to high school with, and then my next year, I actually roomed with a couple girls that lived nowhere near here, and we ended up being pretty good friends. And I think that my advice for it would just be once you get coming into it, you might be really apprehensive about who you're going to live with, but once you're on campus for a semester, or even your first year, you're going to have a whole group of friends, and you won't you'll know exactly who you want to live with. But right at the beginning, there's so many resources. If you don't know anyone that's coming to Marietta, you can go online to the Facebook group. You can just try and connect through admissions with someone, or even with if you're going to play on a sporting team, your coach or something like that is another good way to meet people.
The rooming process was kind of simple for me. Since I am on the cross country and track teams, there were a lot of incoming freshmen. And so I was just looking for a roommate. And my roommate, I was like, oh, roommates, fun. But really with me, it was just trying to find someone who was like-minded, as me. But with the rooming application that you submit, the best advice that I have to do is just fill it out honestly. And they will pair you up with someone that has a lot of similarities with you. And I have found that the roommate selection, even if you don't know who you're going to room with, is really, really good. Also, I say go to the Facebook group, even if you think that you know who you're going to room with, because it's a good way to get in contact with other people in your class. And then you'll eventually get everybody on your floor to know, then the whole building will start hanging out. So just be willing to meet new people, prop your door open the first week, say hi to people, and everything will be fine.
Yeah, like Chaston said, the roommate application was really helpful for me. And my roommate and I are still good friends, even though haven't roomed with them since freshman year. And it's really just about making those connections on your whole roommate floor, and you'll make great friends.
Cool. And then, so first year housing, I know some people are a little apprehensive. One thing like going to college is like, oh, I'm gonna live with all these people and share a bathroom with all these people. Is it really that bad?
Not at all. Cleaning services does an excellent job all the way across campus, and I haven't had an issue with anything. It's because everyone comes in thinking that it's going to be awful, so no one wants to be that awful person. So it all works out. Honestly, freshman housing, I've heard some of the best like friendships and stuff that you will get because you do see everyone a lot. So it's not bad at all. I love it.
Yeah, I remember coming into my freshman year, I was a little like apprehensive just about freshman housing, about just like certain things like having a community bathroom, for an example. I was nervous about that, but after I was there, literally like the first 2 days, I was like, this is not bad at all. The cleaning crew will become like some of your best friends. You'll see them all the time. You know, every morning I would see them and we would like stand and have a whole conversation, and they knew everything about me by the end of the year. And they keep it really clean, and you'll have RAs that are going to be in charge of making sure that when the cleaning crew isn't there, if they see anything that they're like, you know, this needs cleaned up, that they're going to also report that. So I honestly loved freshman housing. I met all of my friends that I'm still friends with and will graduate with and stuff. So definitely not anything to be worried about.
Yeah, after that first week, it really just becomes part of the college experience, and it's just something to remember. It's great.
Awesome. So there are tons of things to do outside of the classroom on campus, whether it's activities, clubs, things like that. What are like some of your absolute favorite like must-do things on campus?
Go to the basketball games. Absolutely go to the basketball games. That is one of the best community builders that you'll see on our campus. You'll have alumni coming back, people in the community, students, and I mean, you want to feel like good college energy for basketball, go to the basketball games. Really any event that you see going on in a DBRC, especially when basketball and indoor track season starts, you'll see people going from the basketball games to the track meet and then back and forth. So I would say go to as many basketball games and football games, just anything to support the athletes on campus, and you'll have fun.
Yeah, I was going to say definitely the basketball games, the football games, soccer, track meets, all that stuff's really fun. Also, PAC always puts on really awesome events for us. So bingos are really popular on campus. And those are something that usually go on like throughout the week. So if you just like want to break from being in your room, or you and your friends want to go, they give away awesome prizes like Apple Watches, smart TVs and stuff. I've never personally won, but I'm going to keep going until I really can't go anymore. So yeah, those are awesome. And then there's tons of other like cool things too. Like we have a skiing club, like a horseback riding club. Like there's tons of different things. Like if you have a hobby at home that you're worried, you know, maybe I won't be able to continue this while I'm at college. We might even already have a club that is like your favorite hobby, or you can even create a club and just have a couple people get involved with you. So the options are endless.
And Quinn, aren't you on PAC? Do you help?
Yeah, I started this year, so
Okay.
I don't have much to say for that.
So why hasn't Shantae won a big prize?
Yeah, so we need to stay afterwards and figure this out.
All right. So reminder to anyone tuning in, if you have any questions, feel free to enter those at any time and we'll get them answered for you. For Katie or Scott, if we have people who are thinking about, you know, making their decision and depositing, what does that kind of look like? What do they need to do? How do they do it?
Yeah, so if you are thinking about making your enrollment deposit, which I know a lot of students are, wanting to make that decision relatively soon if they haven't already, if you go to marietta.edu/accepted, that will kind of break down all the different ways you can submit your enrollment deposit. Whether it's online, sending in a physical check, it'll give you the directions right there. So whatever works best for you and your family, feel free to do that. We do have a deadline, or we ask students to make their decision by May 1, which is tomorrow. So if you are not ready, if I know there's a lot of things going on in the world right now, if you need more information, you need more time, just keep in contact with your admission counselor. And as long as, you're staying engaged with them, they know that you're, working on making a decision, we can be flexible with that. Just keep us in the loop so we can make sure you have all the information you need to make the right decision for you.
Okay. So I know there's a ton to do on campus, but sometimes it's nice to get off campus for a little bit. Can you talk about some things that maybe you or your friends like to do, or restaurants you like to go to off campus?
For me, usually my friends and I either go to a place called Shogun, which is a great Asian place, or Busy Bees. It's really good breakfast food, so I'd recommend those.
And how far are those from campus, Quinn? Is it a long drive, short drive?
Yeah, it's about a 5-minute drive at most.
Cool. So very close, very reasonable.
Yeah, another close thing to campus is Front Street, Marietta, and there's tons of shops and things down there that you can go in. On every first Friday of the month, they do something called First Friday, and you can go downtown, and a lot of times they'll have, sometimes stores will have different deals or games or giving out little appetizers set up, and the whole community will be down there, so you'll most likely run into someone that you know. And it's always a really fun event. And and also another thing about the shops and restaurants down there, a lot of them offer a college discount. So if you just show your school ID, you can get so much off your meal or off of the item that you're purchasing.
One thing that I like to do is make sure to try to go to Sternwell Festival. It is very fun. The stores will also still have the discounts. It's like First Friday, but more. And that's really when you just see that Marietta is a true river town. You'll see a bunch of Sternwell boats, and there's concerts. There's a giant fireworks show. So it's really fun to just go. You'll see little, you can get funnel cakes and deep fried. It's like a little fair. Sternwell Festival is really fun to me.
Awesome. We did have a question come in. So we've talked a little bit about freshman housing, first year housing, but after your first year, what do the housing options look like?
So after your first year, you get to move to what we consider upperclassmen housing, which is sophomores to seniors. There's a couple of different options. There's McCoy Hall, Harrison Hall, and then Fayweather Hall. McCoy and Harrison are both very similar buildings. You can have yourself in a suite style room with another roommate, a bathroom, and then 2 other people on the other side. Or you and 3 friends can live in an apartment style room. Or you can do a 6-person apartment, and a 6-man is what we call them. But the apartments and rooming situation all goes by credits. So whoever has more credits within your roommate group, those are the people who get the apartments, and then down to the suite. So generally by your junior or senior year, you'll get to live in one of the apartments, which are really, really nice. Our upperclassmen housing is so nice. And again, the staff and cleaning people do a really awesome job at making those nice for us and stuff.
Cool. And then another question we have is, other than Greek life, what kinds of clubs are available on campus?
So you can go ahead, Quinn.
I was just going to say PAC is one of the clubs, just what I'm in. But.
There's a Dungeons and Dragons club. There's so many. Really, me trying to name them may be impossible. Basically what I can say is if you're interested in something, there's probably a club or a group of people on campus that are interested in the same thing. There's intramural sports, so if you don't want to be an actual college athlete, there's intramural basketball, there's an ultimate frisbee club, dodgeball club. So there's all different kinds from being active to there's a coloring club. So if you like coloring, the theater department, they're starting a new club, which is actually play script reading. So it'll be a bunch of different plays and everyone reads it in parts. So all sorts of clubs that we have are on campus.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
just gonna say like, oh, sorry, Quinn, go ahead.
You can go.
Oh, I was just gonna say like the coloring clubs, one that I really like. I'm really pushing that. I think we should do a karaoke club on campus. I've been pushing that since my freshman year. I had it going for a little bit, so maybe bringing that back would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
and what
think
else
there's
can
over like 60 clubs on campus, so we may just touch on a few right now. But they're, again, kind of the sky's the limit with clubs and organizations. If there's not already something established, you can get it established. So don't be limited by what's on like a brochure or what's listed, because they're very open to accommodating any request.
Hey, Shantae. If you need an advisor for karaoke club, you know where to find me.
Okay, I figured you did.
Count me in as one of your people, Shantae.
Perfect. As soon as we're back on campus, I will be holding you to it.
So when school starts too, the way you find out about all the clubs is there's something on the mall where you can go around and see all the different clubs and organizations. And I also know that we did send a brochure out, and it was to the parents of, so hopefully your parents received it probably about a month ago, of all the clubs, organizations, intramural sports, intercollegiate sports, everything. If your parents can't find it, or if you want one, just send in to admit@marietta.edu, and we can ship when you one off, just because it's got a little explanation of every single club and organization.
Yeah. All right. So can you all just give us a little synopsis when you were in the decision process for colleges? What kind of stood out and, you know, made you decide on Marietta?
So for me, it was a lot of different factors. With being from North Carolina, of course, there's a lot of schools between here and there. But I wanted to find a small school where I could still be an athlete, but I wanted to put school first. That's why I chose to go D3. But also I got to meet some of the people on campus. My first time on campus, actually, Shantae gave my tour. So that was fun, and just being able to know that when you come here, you join a family, and so the people giving you your tours do become some of your friends. So it's cool that Shantae gave me my tour, and now I'm working alongside with her, and how many connections you can make. My admissions counselor was great. Also, they kept me involved more than really any other colleges that I was looking at the time. The coaches would check in on me, and if no one heard from me for a little bit, they would message, "Hey, we're just checking in to make sure everything's okay." And really, this just felt like home coming here. So
Yeah, I kind of had an opposite view from Chaston just because I'm local. So him being in North Carolina and then me living about 20 minutes from where my house is was a little bit different. But there's a lot of decisions and like thought process behind why I decided to go to Marietta. And at first I was like kind of nervous. I don't know if any of the viewers listening are local too, but I was kind of nervous like that I wasn't, you know, leaving town. A lot of my friends that I went to high school with were like going a couple hours away to other schools. And I had even applied to other schools and went and toured other schools as well. But Marietta was actually the last place that I toured. And it was because my parents really, really wanted me to tour there. And I went on my tour, just like Chasten said, and I immediately like loved the campus. I met a bunch of professors and some of the staff that day, and it just seemed like really reassuring, and that like there was a lot of opportunity for me. And I didn't necessarily feel that maybe at some of the other schools that I looked at. Another factor was like I immediately like saw some interest in like programs that I wanted to be a part of. So I think that's like some good advice. Like do your research and like kind of, you know, try new things and just decide like kind of what general route you want to go into before your freshman year starts, and just jump right in, because from there, especially if you decide upon Marietta, which would be awesome, so many more things will grow and branch from that, and you'll meet tons of awesome people along the way, just like, you know, Chastity and Quinn and all the staff that I'm on Zoom with. So
well, for me, it was partly because of lacrosse. I wanted to play Division III as well. And then I also really like the small tight-knit community, and then just the accessibility on the campus and how easy it was to get to each building. So.
And then Chasten and Quinn, both of you are from further away, North Carolina. How was the transition being, you know, that far from home?
Well, for me, I was mostly worried about it just because it's a different climate. Well, so I thought it was. But the weather here is kind of the same as back home. But it was almost like instantly whenever I would tell people like, oh, I'm from North Carolina, it wasn't like a scary thing to say. It was more people were more interested, and it made the move really simple, especially with the piosaurs and me staying overnight and just getting a feel of the campus really made the move here a lot easier. And plus there's a lot of stores near Marietta, so we didn't have to lug everything from North Carolina to here. So, and I mean, I had people to help me move in. RA was helping me move in, Greek life coaches. So it's a community thing, and there will be help for you.
Yeah, as for me, it was family-wise, you know, I still get to see them over the breaks, which is great for me. And I really just enjoyed being somewhere else in the country. So.
Awesome. So again, a reminder to anyone tuning in, if you have any other questions, make sure you get those submitted so we can get them answered for you. Katie, Scott, you have anything else you want to add in?
I just have a quick question. So I know there's a lot of different majors kind of represented, even just with 3 of you here. Do you have any idea what you want to pursue after college, or are you still figuring it out? It's okay if you're still figuring it out. I'm just throwing it out there.
So one thing that I found with my major is that with going into sports management and musical theater is that I want to kind of move to a city that has theater access and athletic access. But if not, I've been looking at being a halftime show coordinator for one of the sports teams. So therefore I would make connections with other people who are doing something in my craft. And then the coaching minor is just, hey, I think I would want to do something like that. So just me finding something, not like, oh, I want to do this or that, but finding something to combine both of my majors. So really halftime coordinator would seem really fun to me, and I get to meet a lot of different people.
That's awesome. And that's a job that I didn't even know like existed. So that's really cool.
So I'm graduating in like 6 months, and I'm
also tier.
Yeah, bittersweet for sure. You know, this is a conversation I've been having a lot with my parents lately. I have a lot of things that I'm really interested in, and I was a business management major, but I also had a couple different minors that I just picked up like along the way. And another thing that I was involved in on campus was an on-campus consulting group called Fifth Street Consulting, and I did that for 2 whole semesters. And what it is basically you work with like a real client, and we've had companies, we've had personal entities. We actually worked for the college this semester for part of our project. And I really, really loved doing that. And I learned a lot along the way. So I've thought about going into consulting post-grad. I've also, considered going to law school. I've considered getting my master's. I'm kind of just feeling out life right now and trying to see which direction I want to go in. But I do know now that I'm kind of wrapping things up for me at school, like I know that Marietta has made me feel prepared, made me feel like I'm ready to take on different problems that I might come in my life, but also victories that I might have later on down the road. So I think that's my biggest takeaway from Marietta is that I'm really happy with the last couple years I've spent here, and I'm really feeling prepared and stuff for whatever my next step might be. Hopefully I figure it out soon because my parents might have a heart attack.
Well, I'm planning on pursuing the military and somehow incorporating my environmental studies major, and then as well as getting my master's degree. So.
Cool. We did have another question entered here. So did any of you work during your freshman year? And if so, kind of how much did you work? What did that look like?
Oh, well, I'm currently a freshman and I do work in the Office of Admissions. And one thing that I can say is that working your freshman year, it's really up to you figuring out your schedule beforehand and then figuring out what time you have to work. So I know some people work 3 hours a week, some people work 15 hours a week, but it's really about just they're going to work with you around your classes and events that you have coming up. So it's about, hey, I want to work, but I have these gaps on these days. And my supervisor, who may be, in this video, hi, Stacy, works very well with us as far as scheduling wise. And I don't feel overwhelmed when working. And if you do have a big project coming up, you call your employer, hey, I have a final that I need to study for, and they understand that you are here to get an education. So.
Yeah, Chaslin put it really, really well. I work in the Office of Admissions now, and I have since spring of my freshman year. My first semester of college, I worked in the business office, and I liked that job and everything. I learned a lot there too. I kind of decided that I wanted a job that I would interact with a little bit more people because I was actually a secretary assistant, and I'm a people person, so I like to be around and see what everyone's doing. And once I started working at the Office of Admissions, I loved it ever since. So my advice is if you do want to work your freshman year, obviously think about your schedule. Think about sports if you're involved in that stuff and other clubs, and put that stuff first. But also don't feel like you're married to any campus job on campus once you get it. You're here for experience in several different areas, not just the first job you get your freshman year. So feel it out and come be a tour guide.
During my freshman year, I worked about 4 hours a week, and that was good for me with lacrosse and academics. So yeah, I'd say go light, and then if you can, just do more.
Yeah, and from a student worker supervisor point of view, again, it's really up to you, and you may need to kind of like they've said, feel it out. Maybe you think you can work, X number of hours, and then you get into it and you're like, whoa, this is actually a little too much. So I think all of the supervisors across campus, we all know you're a student first. You've got some other priorities that are bigger than, the job that you're working for us. We'd love to have you in the office, of course, but, you're here to be a student. So we're really flexible with, the hours that we can have you work and that type of thing. Sometimes, especially for, athletes or people with different activities going on, maybe fall semester is really busy. So maybe they only work spring semester or vice versa, depending on what their schedule looks like. So again, I think kind of Shantae said it too, you don't have to be the first job you get. You don't have to keep that job all 4 years by any means. There are so many different jobs on campus. So yeah, try them out. If you want to work and you can fit it in, that's awesome. And if you decide that you need a semester where you're just focusing on some of your higher priority things with school or internship or whatever it may be, sports, whatever, that's totally fine too. So just find what works for you, and you know, everyone's here to help you out. So don't be afraid to ask questions or have those conversations with people on campus. Alrighty, well, we don't have any more questions at this time, so I'll ask my students here to just give anyone who is listening who may, you know, still be making that decision, what's kind of your best advice moving forward, or you know, what are some of your biggest takeaways from Marietta College?
I can start. So I know most of you are 2020 seniors and are probably, you know, looking at this time right now and feeling super uncertain, not just about college, but just about life in general. I think that's something that all of us are kind of feeling right now. And just while you're in the search for like college and making that final decision, you know, just reach out to the Marietta staff or whoever you want to talk to and ask those questions. Ask questions about majors, ask questions about events, or just simply like we talked about today, what to do on campus. Those are going to be the things that shape how the next 4 years of your life are going to be. So they're important questions to ask, and there's people here willing to answer them, and obviously love Marietta especially, and would love to tell you all about our lives. So yeah, and just for my takeaways from Marietta, like we've talked about this whole time, like I feel like I've got a family here, even though my family only lives 20 minutes away from here. So yeah, I know I've made lifelong friends, connections, and people that I can look for jobs, or even people that will probably be in my wedding one day. So like, you're gonna have both sides of the spectrum, and if that's something that you're like looking for a school, you definitely will find it here. So.
Agreeing with Shantae about asking questions. If you have a question about anything, you can ask it. And they will find the answer for you. They're really good about finding the answer. And also, if you want to, really, whoever you want to reach out to, they'll find somebody. So if you want to reach out to a student directly, they will give you a student contact. Another thing that I love about Marietta is if you're an athlete, some sports teams, they sign up with foster parents. And so you'll have like your own family here in Marietta. And one thing that I found cool is that while I personally don't have a set of foster parents, I still know that I have those people that I can go to on campus. But when I was flying home for winter break, you see a bunch of the foster parents bringing the students to the airport and bringing them back. So it's really a community effort here. And if you're looking for something small and where you're going to have an impact on everyone around, I would recommend Marietta.
As for me, throughout the college process, just staying open-minded and using all your resources online to figure out everything. And then some takeaways from Marietta is that, you know, it's a great community and really just creates the atmosphere of all aspects of your college experience. So.
Great, thank you all for that. And then we did have one more question come in. Are any of you part of the honors program?
Oh.
Well, I'm currently not in the honors program, but I may be joining it next year. But I do live in the building where the honors floor is for freshmen. And what I can say is that it's a whole nother community that you have and support system, and you will get to live on the same floor with the honors program students, and you will live with someone who is an honors student. And it's another community that you have. It's a great program with great professors. And if you're looking into the honors program, apply, ask them questions. And I don't know of anyone who's like, oh, I don't like the honors program. So I would really recommend the honors program if you were looking into it. Also leadership programs.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna say I'm not in the honors program, but I'm in a couple of different programs on campus, and no matter what the program that you're looking into, one thing about Marietta that I've noticed is like those people that are within your program with you are going to be the people that you're spending a lot of time with. So those are going to be people that you like have fun with, that you study with. So just getting involved in those type of communities freshman year right off the bat, like that's going to help you tremendously adjusting to college, and then even later on down the road, like you'll have those people and you'll be able to build those relationships a little bit quicker than if you were maybe to wait to join stuff till later in your like college experience, I guess. So yeah, I'm not in the honors program, but I am in the leadership program, and that's something that helped me like adjust to college right off the bat, my first week of college. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that insight, both of you. And Katie or Scott, anything else that you want to add before we wrap up for the night?
No, I would just say, I know we keep saying if you have any questions, but we really mean that. So whether you are still completing your application, whether you've been accepted, you already know you're coming. If you don't know what your next step is, just let us know. Admission is working every day. So we do have a general admission email if you don't know who your admission counselor is. So if you use the admit one, it's ADMIT, admit at marietta.edu. We can make sure your question gets to the right person.
I just want to say thank you for joining us this evening. Good luck as you finish up your senior year, because I'm sure it's not ending how you thought it was going to end. And then a plug for on May 22nd, our lights on our football and soccer field will be lit up in your honor for those of you who are coming to school here. And it will be at 8:20 at night till 9:20 at night, and 8:20 in military time is 2020, which is the reason why that's when we're turning the lights on. And we'll have it on Instagram and our Facebook, and that's in your honor. And then also for those of you who are coming here, you'll have an opportunity this summer to take an online 1-hour class at no cost. It'll be in July, and then it'll give you a credit for college. And it's just about to transition, learn about a little bit of the history of the college, and even the history of not something you want to always look at, but pandemics that we've had in across the time in the United States, but none of us currently were around for any pandemic like this. That's for sure. So just good luck on the rest of your senior year. Enjoy everything. And if you have any questions, please let us know. But we'd love to have all you join us here and become part of the Pioneer family.
All right. Well, thank you so much to our students who joined us this evening during finals week to answer all of the great questions. And also thank you to Katie and Scott for fielding the admission questions. We appreciate your time, and thanks to anyone who tuned in this evening for joining us. Yeah, we can't say it enough. Let us know what any other questions that you have to make your college decision. We are here for you. So have a great night, everyone, and take care.